Welcome to the Ranchonomics Podcast, where we empower you to build a better ranch and transform your operations into a thriving business. I'm your host, John Haskell. Let's get started. Welcome to the Ranchonomics Podcast. I am here today with Steve Kenyon from Canada, and I am excited for the interview that we're about to do. Steve, welcome to the podcast. Great to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
You bet. Steve and I met at a Sheridan Soil Conservation District meeting where he gave a fantastic presentation this winter, and I have been looking forward to getting back together with him. So, Steve, let's jump in. Give us a little bit of background if you don't mind, and then we'll jump into our topic today.
Sure, you bet. So, Steve Kenyon, I'm from near Edmonton, Alberta, a little town called Rich Valley. We just built a new place here, so...
Which is how far from the Arctic Circle?
Quite a ways. We're about... I'm going to say about 7 hours north of the U.S.-Canada border.
That's quite a ways up to Edmonton, yeah.
Yeah, if you look at a map, we're about halfway. Like, there's a lot farther north, but there's not much farther north, if you know what I mean.
There isn't much stuff there, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of land and a lot of forest up there, basically. So we do a custom grazing operation. We've done that for many, many years. I used to own a cattle herd and learned how to do a gross margin analysis and figured out that they were actually losing money. It actually kind of shocked me. Took the Ranch for Profit school back in 2001, and I was doing really well with my herd. It was a small herd, but we had excellent calving rates, weaning weights. I was bale grazing for like 60 cents a day or something at the time.
Yeah, good for you.
We were doing pea straw. High quality pea straw was a hay we brought in. Like, it was so cheap.
Yeah.
Like, we were doing everything right. My grazing was, I was getting the hang of that. All the rotations, grass was jumping really good. And I did the economics on it. I didn't have enough animals of my own, so I brought in some other cattle to use up the rest of my pasture. And I learned how to do a gross margin, and I was losing money on my cows. But the reason I was losing money was because I was paying too much for grass.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing I had. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I bought all my hay. I didn't make hay. It was my grass. Because the opportunity cost, because I had these custom cattle in to fill up the rest of it, they're willing to pay more, so I had to charge my cows at that. That was my biggest cost. And I'm like, that makes no sense, but it was true. So I made a decision, and I decided to sell off the herd, timed it right with the cattle cycle, and I've been a custom grazer ever since. So we run about, right now, we're down in land actually right now. We're losing land because we're close to a pretty big city. I think we're down to about 2,500 acres right now, and we're running just over 1,100 head of cattle.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
That's a busy 2,500 acres.
Yep.
It doesn't just grow mosquitoes, huh?
No, a little bit more than mosquitoes. Sorry, I shouldn't say 1,100 head of cattle. We have some sheep in there too. We've got about 40 ewes and then all their babies now. So not a huge amount of sheep, but yeah.
Yeah, but a few scattered in there. Good.
Yeah, you bet.
Excellent. All right, so today you made a comment to me that I absolutely love. I'm going to ask you to repeat it, if you don't mind. Sounds like one I heard from Dr. David Cole not very long ago. And that's going to be the kickoff for our conversation here today. So hit me with this good one. I like it.
Well, the cattle in Canada right now, I'm sure the U.S. is similar. Prices are through the roof. Like, things are so good, it scares me. Because I've dealt with the cattle cycle in the past, and I know it goes up and down, and there's arguments right now whether it still exists. But I think we're doing pretty strong right now, and there's only one way to go. Ranch for Profit, their statement is, if a cow is too expensive to buy, they're too expensive to own, so you should sell them. Now, the problem is, I would have said that 2 years ago too, because prices were great 2 years ago, and I thought they were kind of at the peak. Now they're even higher. So when is this going to peak, and when's it going to crash? So I guess the question is there still a 10-year cattle cycle? Is it 10 years, or does it change? Or my opinion is there's a lot of world events now, or world markets that influence more than it did 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So does it exist? That being said, too, I get a lot of criticism that I don't own any cows because I sold all mine. And then just to make people ease their mind, we bought one heifer 2 years ago. So she is now a cow.
Oh, perfect. You're a real rancher then. You don't just custom graze. You actually own some, huh?
Yeah, I get that criticism lots that I got no skin in the game. So my argument to him all the time is that he owns the cattle on 1,000 hills anyway. Okay, I am a shepherd. I'm managing his creation. It's more than cows because it's dragonflies, it's spiders, it's plants, it's soil life, earthworms. I manage all of that. So just the fact that I don't own the cows, I still deal with a lot. And I think I've actually got maybe more background because of it. Over 30 years of custom grazing, how many different types of cattle, different herds, different management styles.
Yep.
This guy likes this guy likes that. I've seen a lot of different ways of managing cattle.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on any of them, but man, there's such a diversity, right?
Yeah.
One guy is hooked on this part and the other guy, this is the most important part. And some of them I know they're not making any money and some of them I think they are making money.
The fun thing about ranching and farming is that there are a million roads to Rome, right? There are a lot of different ways to be successful. There are a lot of different ways to be not successful, but boy, it is pick your own adventure type deal. We just had a meeting this morning with some folks and they literally have some good friends down the road. They're both ranching for profit people. They've both done sell by marketing. They're into grass management, soil health, family time, etc. And yet even they run wildly different operations. And you'd never recognize them as the same thing, but they work for each of them. And so that's a part that I just find fantastic. It's a lot of fun to see how you can make things work.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's dive in a little on this because I think your question about does the 10-year cattle cycle still exist? There are a few things I want to hit on because I've been hearing people say for years in ranching for profit circles, literally since 2022 at this point, boy, cattle are high, maybe even 2021. And I would challenge anybody that thinks they understand where the market is going to ask themselves every day, is this the top? And you on the other side of the market, you could ask, is this the bottom? The fun part about this is when we look back on the cattle cycle, we can see it. It is hard to see in the day-to-day. Where is the top? Where is the bottom? We've done episodes with Bob Metzger here that talk about the peril or the danger of trying to be a market timer. The reason we really love sell by marketing is it allows us to be profitable at all the points on the spectrum of the 10-year cattle cycle. But I think there are people that make the cycle work for them. And one of the risks of doing that is we all know it's not really 10 years. Like there's no little timer that says, 10 years, now the market's going to fall. Sometimes it's 9 years. Sometimes it's 11 years. Sometimes it's 10 and a half years.
And we're past that now, I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Like 2015, I think, was the last time it was peaked. So that'd be 2025.
Yeah.
So we're on year 11 right now. So,
yeah. And boy, I'll tell you what, I also would be, I don't know what your opinion is, but I would be very careful of anybody who says they know why the market is going to turn down. Not just because it's 10 years, but boy, what actually is going to cause it? So your experience, you got some great experience in Canada. What are the things that have caused the market to go down in Canada? And did those coincide with, herd rebuilding and all of these things that we hear so much about?
Well, BSE was a big one. So let's back up. I guess I was in college in 1996.
Yep.
And they were predicting that the markets were going to jump soon. So I actually went out before I was done college, got a loan and bought some cows a year earlier than I probably could have.
Yeah. Because you thought the market was going to go up.
Yeah, because we're at the bottom. And it did.
Yeah.
It did in 97 or 98. It did go up.
Yep.
So I bought my first herd of cattle then, caught that upswing. I think I bought them for $950 a pair, if I recall. So wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. And those are Canadian dollars.
Yeah. Well, back then we were probably better than US dollar, but we've swapped.
Oh, you probably were. Yeah. Okay.
We've swapped. We used to be the opposite of what we are now. So, that was the plan. And then I took ranching for profit in 2001. We're giving ranching for profit a lot of plugs here today. They've been
that's all right. They love them.
Yeah. So I took that in 2001, and that's when I figured out that my cattle were actually losing money because my custom grazing paid better. So I decided to sell. We were close to the top of the market. I mean, they were predicting, well, maybe it'll be in 2 or 3 years. I'm like, you know what? Custom grazing's paying. Let's just do it. So we pulled the plug in 2001. Actually, the spring of 2002, we pulled the plug, which ended up being perfect timing because that was the drought of 100 years.
Yeah. Well, you're a lucky guy. I like it.
Yeah, I timed that well. And then right after that, in 2003, was BSE.
Yep.
right? And all of a sudden farmers quit left and right.
Yep.
And I started this custom grazing that seemed to be working. And then all of a sudden land became available.
Want to sharpen your business skills without leaving the ranch? Our Ranch Right webinars cover everything from the financial basics to business strategy and tax prep, all taught by our own ranching and finance experts from the team at Ranch Right. Join us online, ask questions, and get practical tools you can put to work tomorrow. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn to receive updates on our next session, and catch up on all of our past webinars by visiting and subscribing to Ranch Right LLC on YouTube. Let's back up to just a second. I want to make sure some of our younger listeners understand what happened in 2003, if I can get that out. So a case of BSE was discovered in Canada, correct?
Yes.
And it was in a dairy cow, if I remember right.
It was more than one, but one was the big one or something.
Yeah. A dairy cow?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And explain what happened, because this was kind of a dark period for a little while.
Yeah. US actually got a little bit of a boost, I think, because of it. Actually, the blessing that we had was the drought of 2.
Because you destocked a bunch.
A lot of people had to destock. So it actually saved them from making 203 even worse. So BSE hit, the United States closed the border was the big one. And all of a sudden we couldn't sell.
Like in a day, right? I mean, it happened instantly. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's no market. We couldn't sell things. Guys were trying to invent ways of selling cull cows. I remember guys were making dog food out of cull cows, and markets just crashed.
There was terribly limited slaughter capacity in Canada at that time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was trivial.
Yeah, still is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically that just devastated the beef guy for quite a while. They took a long time. But my advantage then, a bunch of land opened up. And the guys that were still in it needed more land. And I provided that. I could take the whole herd for them, put it in a big group, and then they didn't have to worry about it anymore. So that was kind of my opportunity as I was increasing my land bases, because it was available. Like some land was just sitting there. So I got it fairly cheap.
Yeah.
So basically BSE was the trigger that started the drought, and then BSE was the trigger that ended that cattle cycle. And I sold them for...
Just to be clear, I want to back up. Didn't have anything to do with herd size or beef demand or any of these parameters we often hear about, right?
BSE really hit it.
Right. Yeah. BSE was the thing. Yeah.
But in 201, I sold them for $1,500 a pair.
Nice.
So from $950 to $1,500. And I had good prices the whole time that had the herd. And I was still losing money.
Yeah.
According to my gross margin.
Right.
But that's where the custom grazing came in. The other thing that I had with custom grazing was the Animal Keepers Act, but that's a whole nother topic. That protects me. We'll save that for another topic.
Okay.
So next cattle cycle, I thought then, okay, I sold then. I should probably be thinking about buying again in 2008. So 2008 came along and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do this. I got a feeder association loan and I think I bought about 80 or 90 heifers. And that was going to be the start of my herd. And 208 and 209 were extremely dry years.
Yeah.
Again. And price of hay went through the roof. I'm like, do I chew on this? Like cash flow is going to be tight this year, or do I just sell these? I actually bred them, right? They were going to be bred. And the way the markets went, I sold them and somebody just aborted them all and put them in the feeders. Right? Like it just seemed like such a waste. I mean, I just spent all that time and money into it. But the price of hay was just too much. I was like, no, I'm not going to starve my family this winter because I had to buy crazy amounts of hay. So I ended up selling them. But that was, again, the bottom. It kicked up again in like 2010 or something like that and got to the peak at about 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And I think then pairs were selling for like $3,300 a piece, something like, and that was like unprecedented. And then 2016,
you had to buy
2017.
them for that now, you'd think you were stealing them, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And then they crashed again. Didn't go all the way back down. Obviously, we got net present value or whatever. Everything's going up all the time, but
right.
And then now here we are again. Looking, we're at the peak. So what's going to trigger it? Who knows? It could be another disease. It could be weather. Could be massive drought somewhere, which we're not getting this year. We finally got some moisture this year, but
well, west of you, interestingly, in BC, they're still suffering from drought, huh?
Yeah.
Just crazy to me. British Columbia seems like the last place in the world you're going to have a drought, but
Oh, actually, BC has the wettest and the driest environments in Canada. I did a bit of a research project. There's central, Kamloops area, Kelowna area. There's some, it's desert, basically.
Yeah.
Extremely dry. Kamloops actually is interesting. It has a reverse tree line in the mountains. So
Okay.
most mountains, right? You look at a mountain, there's trees, and all of a sudden you get a tree line and it's this rock above it.
Yeah.
Near Kamloops, because it's so dry, it has more moisture higher up. It's desert. All of a sudden, trees.
Okay. Yeah. You see that same kind of thing in Arizona where you've got the sky islands, right? You got trees up high. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's pretty dry. And then they got the rainforest down in Vancouver area, right? Like snow, totally different.
Very different environment. Yeah. Interesting.
So, but it's got to be a pretty national drought or something that's going to trigger it. Right?
Yes.
It's got to trigger it. Or maybe it's consumer demand. Price of beef is so high. Maybe they're just going to say, you know what, we're going to start eating chicken. And or the packers are going to say, you know what, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And totally just change it so that the whole markets will change. So.
Well, and the interesting thing we're seeing now is that the difference between packer capacity and packer demand is problematic in the U.S. There are a lot of plants that are not running at capacity because our herd is down.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, so let's get back to where you started. Do you think the cattle cycle is over? You thought it was high 2 years ago. It's still high. So now we're just in good times for the rest of our life. We've hit nirvana. Now we're always going to have high prices.
The cow-calf guy's been struggling since 203, 202. Honestly, in Canada, in 207, there was a bit of a boost, but that was the grain guy. He got a bit of a boost. Beef guy's been struggling ever since, and they've never really been making much of a profit. So it's nice to see it right now. I'm very happy for these guys who own a bunch of beef. I got a lot of friends who are doing really well right now. But you need to be planning, right? You need to plan because it will crash at some point. Right? It might not go down to $1,500 a pair anymore, or a BSE hits again and we go even lower. But it'll be temporary. It'll come back up, but we need to be able to plan for it. So farmers are the only investors on the planet that like to buy high and sell low. I remember in the 201 when things were going so well. I was just kind of getting started there. I was still driving a truck part-time. I was driving a feed truck. And I remember going out to all these big chicken farms. And all of a sudden, the price of cattle went up. Everybody was eating like everything's great. All of a sudden, I don't know why the chicken industry all of a sudden felt the need. They must have been making too much money. All of a sudden, a bunch of corrals went up and cattle showed up. I didn't understand why, but all these chicken farms, now I'm driving around cows.
Yeah.
Because prices were high. So they jumped in. Guess what happened 2 years later when drought and BSE hit?
They wanted out.
So if they were looking for a write-off for their bird that were making too much money, they got it.
Yeah.
It just shocks me that, calf prices are good, let's buy. Right? That's when you should be looking at destocking and culling down to, just your best genetics. But again, timing. You want to catch a bunch of them good prices, but you don't want to sell all that before it crashes. I mean, you're speculating, you're playing the stock markets, but it's with cows. That's all.
Yep, that's right.
When to get out.
So is the cycle 10 years?
Right now, it's a little bit over. It still takes, 2 to 3 years to get a replacement into the herd.
Yeah.
So it still takes time once it crashes it's still approximately 10 years, I believe.
Yeah.
But again, I don't have any skin in the game, so don't listen to me.
And I guess I'd love to know what people think the parameters on approximately are, because is 12 approximately 10 or is 9 or how close does it have to be?
Next cattle cycle could be 8.
Yeah.
Right? It is just like playing the stock markets, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Your guess is as good as mine, but world events affected a lot more. I think it was more predictable back then.
Yeah. That's interesting.
It's going to be 97. It was 97. It's going to be 208. It was 208, right? It was pretty predictable.
Yeah.
Now it's not as predictable. It's a little more volatile. So doing a little bit every year, trying to go the ups and downs. I still think we can partially work with that cycle, try and buy when they're low, right? When prices are low, you build up your herd. And when they get, you're just about at the top and you think, it's maybe time to cull really hard. Now you got to work with your accountant too.
Yeah.
Right? When I did it, like I already knew that when I bought in 96, I knew I was going to do that. Like that was what I was educated in back then. Somebody taught me that. And I told my accountant that probably about 203, 204, I'm going to be selling a bunch of these. So
Let's make a plan. Yeah.
So they did a inventory adjustments as we went along so that when I actually sold them, it wasn't as big of a hit as it could have been. You got to keep your accountant on board with stuff like that.
Yeah. Pays to have a plan. That's for sure. So, yeah, cool. Well, I think over and over again, that's the reason why we try to push, sell buy as a strategy where you can make money if the market is up or if the market is down, and you can make money if it's going up or going down.
Yeah.
Because just like you're saying, we don't really know. It's always risky. But I think your original statement about, being worried because everything is good is very fair, because I think we do see a lot of people that during high times, just like your pig farmer friends, maybe make some aggressive decisions there, and there are consequences to making those because there will be a turnaround.
Yeah.
We will get back to a much lower price. We may not get back to exactly where we were on the last cycle, but we are darn sure not just going to live here forever. And I would argue that for a lot of us, especially if we're in the stocker business, these high prices are not the most profitable times. Now, in the cow-calf sector, where your costs are basically fixed, right, prices have a much bigger impact. But man, the cost of going out and buying another steer or heifer to put on grass right now, it's a serious check to write. So
yeah, one of my customers didn't buy this year. Right, he normally brings me 200 to 300 feeders. He's a regenerative grass-fed producer. Normally he was probably selling about 1,000 head a year plus to the grocery stores and stuff. So he had his own little thing going. And he basically told me this year, he says, I don't need pasture this year because I can't pencil it.
yeah,
I can't buy these, and then it's not working. They're too expensive. So
yeah.
he's on pause, he said, basically.
Well, to give you another anecdote, about 3 or 4 years ago, when calf prices went from, heifers went from $900 to $1,200, I remember thinking, oh boy, that's a big increase. I don't know if that's going to work this year. And looking back, of course, I would have bought every single one I possibly could have got in my hand. Let's borrow every dollar we can to grow this deal. So here we are now. So, but you don't know what you don't know. And it's easy to look back and feel like you know stuff, but until you're in it, you don't know. So
yeah,
if a person's inclined to this, I would encourage you to kind of bet yourself every day to see if you can predict when the top is, because my guess is you'll be wrong 99% of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
And then a year later, they'll look back and think, oh, yeah, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, it was easy to predict. It was 11 and a half years.
That's right. Yeah.
I said it would be 11 and a half years, right? Yeah, no.
Excellent. Well, Steve, thank you very much. We're going to do a couple other episodes together, but I'm glad you were willing to talk about this kind of an interesting history. And for those of you that are younger and haven't followed what's happened in the markets over the last 20 years, so this is maybe a good little update. So kind of give you some history and perspective, and the opportunity to see kind of how Steve's seen it from the first person point of view. So that's good. So Steve, thank you very much for being with me today. Where can people get a hold of you, find your stuff?
Yeah, thanks. Basically, my social media is Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
A little bit on Instagram. Facebook copies the Instagram, but I don't pay attention to Instagram as much, but it does go on there.
That's because you graduated from college in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Facebook is for the old people, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, YouTube and Facebook would be with my contacts. If you want to email me, it's skenyon@greenerpasturesranching.com.
Cool. And you write for Stock My Grass Farmer too, correct?
I do. I just got asked to be a monthly columnist. I've written in there for years, but it's just kind of when I wrote, I sent it in and they published the ones they wanted to. But now they asked me, Jim Garris retired.
Yeah.
He's been a huge mentor of mine over the years. And he was writing in there for like 30 years plus, 32, I think. And he retired, and Stockman asked me to fill his shoes. So those are some big shoes to fill, but I will do my best.
Excellent. Good. Well, I think you'll do a great job. The pressure of having to write something every month, I'm sure, is a little intimidating.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing it pretty well monthly for like 15, 16 years, but I didn't always have to if I didn't.
Yeah, right. You could take a month off. All right. Well, Steve, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. I look forward to talking to you again.
Excellent. Thank you. God bless.
You bet. Thank you for tuning into the Ranchnomics podcast. We hope this episode helped you win today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with a friend.